I want to talk about measuring what matters, or measuring that value we just talked about. So I'll usually ask organizations what they measure in their organization. Let's pull my last picture here. What I see in most organizations when you ask what do you measure, they'll talk about things like ARR or MRR, or which is short for annual recurring revenue or monthly recurring revenue. So they'll do things to focus on revenue. They'll focus on customer satisfaction, things like net promoter score. They'll focus on having, let's say, the number of users we have, or their growth. And those are common metrics. But these are metrics you should recognize that come from the impact area. These are business metrics. But what we need to know, well, these things we'll often refer to as business metrics. And the important thing to understand about business metrics is that they are lagging indicators. They lag behind all these things that are outcomes or usage. Now, the primary thing you need to be aware of is who are your users, and what we need to do is measure whether they use your product. Or, look, I'm going to say what I said before. What's important is they keep using your product. If you build something for internal use, we want to make sure that employees keep using it. If we build something for our external customers, we want to make sure that they keep using it. So the first and only thing you need to worry about measuring is for every feature capability in your product, you do this for your whole product, and for every feature you release, do people use it? That's it. So the first thing you need to get good at is instrumenting your product and what do they do, and measure whether people actually do it. Now, if you're measuring whether people actually do it, we can worry about, we can start to look at their frequency, how often they do it. And we can also worry about, well, how long it takes, or the time to do it. We can worry about things, then we can start to worry about things like efficiency and effectiveness, especially for things that we build internally. So when I'm working with a company and they're releasing a new feature, my first question to them is, how are you going to measure value? And they'll say things like ROI, or things like, well, that's a lagging indicator. The value first and foremost comes from people using it. How are you going to measure whether people are actually using it? There are lots of tools these days that do this. I've got a slide at the tail of this deck that gives you a handful of tools to do this. But boy, I'm old. We used to do this just by logging to log files to indicate that people were using it, and then pull a lot of data out of a table to see how often it was used and how long it took, and things like that. Now, first thing is measure whether your users are using it. But the next thing we've got to measure is, well, their journey to continuing to use it. Remember, we talked about users that need to see it and try it, and then maybe use it for the first time, and then keep using it, and then ideally we want users to say good things. Now, I'm going to draw this as a mountain. And this mountain is your product, or the feature you just released for your product. And at the bottom of your product or feature mountain is a bunch of possible customers and users. And they have a decision to make. They're staring up at your feature and they're saying, should we try this thing? Does it look scary? Does it look steep? Does it look dangerous? Is it worth it? And some subset of these people will decide, yes, it's worth it. We want to go up this product mountain. And these are the people that see it and try it. Now, in product speak, this is called acquisition. And we look for acquisition metrics. How many people saw and tried our product? How many people saw the feature and clicked into it? Now, one of the things we want them to do is keep going up that mountain. We want them to use it for the first time. And we have to decide what using it for the first time means. This is what in product speak is called activation. I worked with a company, well, now 2 years ago, since we just rolled into 2025. I worked with a company a couple of years ago that made a continuous integration and development environment for iOS applications. If you're building iOS applications or applications that work on iPhones, you need to integrate and build on Apple equipment. So they maintained big server farms, and they did this. They helped you do this. Now, a lot of customers saw their product and tried to use, signed up for it. But then they would start to try and use it. They would learn how to get a build script to build, and then they would upload their own build scripts, and then they would really struggle getting their own build scripts to run on it. They had to decide how much using is really learning how to use it. And they decided that getting their own build scripts to run 3 times successfully, that meant they tried to use it. That's it. But what they were seeing was along the way, lots of people would, let's call this, roll back. They would struggle to do this, and this is where they had a very big problem with their product. They had features and capabilities that people want, but they didn't have a lot of people using them because they struggled to use them the first time. So every time you release a new feature capability, you need to pay attention to this journey. How many people will see it, try it, how many people use it the first time, and how many people keep using it, because this is where we want to get them. We want to get them up here to this keep using it place, or what we call retention. But our best users are the ones that get all the way to the top of the mountain, and they cheer about it, and they write good reviews, and they tell other people, this is such a great product. These are the people that say good things, write good reviews. This is the stuff that we call referral. And all of these things contribute to, well, revenue. Sometimes acquisition contributes to revenue. Sometimes acquisition, especially converting from a free to a pay thing, converts to revenue. Continuing to use your product contributes to revenue. And telling other people about the product helps us get more people to come up this mountain. Now, this is product speak. I like saying, see it, try it, use it, keep using it, and say good things, because that's what regular humans say. But if you were a product person, you know the way you measure value is by finding metrics for acquisition, activation, retention, referral, and revenue. And I've added a rollback here. For people that know, anybody heard of this metrics funnel before? Yeah, good, you know what it is then. This is from a guy named Dave McClure. This is referred to as pirate metrics. Now, I've talked about this without saying pirates, but I have had to say what pirates say. It's acquisition, activation, retention, referral, revenue, and I've added rollback. So apparently this is, it helps you remember, because this is what pirates say, is RRR. Now, this is where value comes from. This is how we go deeper into what's going on out here. What I'd like our organizations to stop saying they're focusing on value and actually measure the value they're creating. Actually pay attention to whether they're getting the value from everything they release. And one of the things that Jim talked about yesterday was a hypothesis statement. Actually build hypotheses for what people will do when things come out, and actually observe whether they did it. Let me summarize this and summarize everything here for a minute. If you read only one article on metrics, find this. It's very old. It's from a book called Lean Analytics. If you look up the term, the one metric that matters, it talks about a concept in Lean Analytics. And with a title like the one metric that matters, it sounds like they're going to tell you, here's the most important metric to focus on. But that's not what it says. What it says is there are way too many metrics to focus on. So you are going to need to focus on the metrics that matter most based upon where your product is right now. if you're releasing a new feature, you probably want to immediately start measuring how many people try the feature, not how many people are using it every day, because we need people to try it before they use it. And once we're confident people are trying it and starting to use it, then we'll start to maybe worry about retention. We change the metrics we focus on based upon where our product is in its life cycle. Now, we used to have a word for metrics that mattered. We used to call those metrics key performance indicators. But these days, when I go into an organization, everybody refers to their metrics as KPIs. Some of you have probably heard the expression that if everything is high priority, nothing is high priority. If everything is a key performance indicator, nothing is a key performance indicator. So maybe the term KPI doesn't work. These days, we start to use concepts like OKRs, or objectives and key results, to come up with our key performance indicators. The 2 or 3 metrics that support your OKR, those become key. Whatever you do, focus. That's what's important here. Now, for every feature or capability you add to your product, identify and instrument the metrics that show that your product is being adopted. At minimum, plan on observing people and watching what they do with that product. Look for efficiency and effectiveness metrics. Not just do they use it, but are they getting more work done faster? Do they make fewer mistakes? Correlate product usage with business impact. This is one of the most annoying things, is it's almost impossible to figure out the return on investment from any one feature or capability. If you add a new feature to the product, if let's say you're building something for internal use and you add something new to the product, and you might see that people using the product, your employees, are more efficient. They get more work done faster. And you can say, look, we've saved a whole bunch of employee time. But the dirty secret here is your company does not save money unless it fires people. You're still paying their salaries, and so there may not actually be return on investment. So we have to figure out how it's helping. Now, if you improve a feature in an existing product and we start to sell more of that product, is it because of that new feature we added? It's going to be very hard to figure that out. Usually what we can say is that people are using the feature and we think it's having an impact on return on investment. If no one uses your feature, it's likely not having an impact. That's the general rule of thumb here. Don't try and calculate return on investment for everything you're building. It just doesn't work that way. All right, here's the punchline here. Focus on value. Value isn't abstract. It isn't what stakeholders say it is. It isn't stakeholder happiness. It's the value that people get using your products. Understand what your digital products are. Organize teams around those digital products and really measure value. It's not an abstract thing. It's not a guess. It's not subjective. It is measurable, and you can understand it. There are a few more slides in here. That's a handful of, those are a handful of tools that people commonly use for product metrics. Let's call it here. There's a few other slides with some links here, and however this conference shares slides, I'll get those on there. What is some stuff on my website? And look, there's that book with the bird of death on it. So let me supplement this. It's not just focusing on value, it's actually measuring on value, or where is he? He'll get you and kill you. So that's the last point I want to make. All right, thank you very much. That's it.